Bayern Munich are a club in transition. New boss Niko Kovac has had a topsy-turvy start to life in Bavaria, and it's clear to see they're not quite the powerhouse they once were in Europe or domestically. Club chiefs have promised Kovac that he can revamp his squad, with a number of the old guard possibly moving on this summer. One of those players is Robert Lewandowski. The big Pole has had a sensational career at Bayern Munich, but he's been frequently linked with a move away from the Allianz Arena. If he does go, there will be some pretty big boots to fill. So here we've picked out our top 5 players that could replace him. First up, you guessed it, it's Timo Werner. The 23-year-old has quickly established himself as one of the Bundesliga's most promising young strikers. In his first season in the Bundesliga, he hit 21 goals as RB Leipzig qualified for the Champions League at the very first attempt. Now, things have slowed down a little bit since then, but he's still among the most promising young strikers in the country. Unlike Lewandowski, Werner's best attribute is probably his pace, which is actually less of an advantage at a club like Bayern Munich, where opponents tend to drop deep and leave little space in behind for nippy strikers to exploit. One of the reasons that Lewandowski is such an asset to a team like Bayern, by comparison, is that his height and aerial prowess give the team a man to hit in crowded penalty areas. Furthermore, Werner is more used to playing in a front two, as he does with Yusuf Poulsen at RB Leipzig. He's not performed quite as well when asked to lead the line solo for Germany, as Lewandowski does week in, week out for Bayern. If Werner were to move to the Allianz Arena, it might require a tactical rejig to get the best out of him. Pairing him with an energetic, intelligent forward player who can create space for him to exploit in the penalty area might be the best bet. A 4-4-2 formation featuring Werner and Thomas Müller in attack might work, especially in the Bundesliga, where Bayern can usually afford to lose a man in midfield. Given Bayern's history of hoovering up the best young talent in Germany, I would say this move is actually pretty likely, especially given Werner has said that he'd love to join the German champions as recently as 2018. One of the standout players of the Bundesliga this season, Sebastian Haller, appears to have every quality a top striker needs to succeed. Bags of pace, aerial ability, lethal finishing, vision, great hold-up play, and he's even got a physical presence. As part of Eintracht Frankfurt's fearsome front three, Haller, Ante Rebic and Luka Jovic have been blowing teams away in the Bundesliga and Europe all season. And while Ante Rebic was the star of the show in last season's German Cup final win over Bayern Munich, and Luka Jovic has scored the lion's share of the goals for Frankfurt, it's Sebastian Haller who's become the main man in Adi Hütter's side this season. The Frenchman's ability to hold up the ball and bring his teammates into play is what really makes Frankfurt tick, while his movement creates space for the other strikers in the formation to exploit in the penalty area. At a team like Bayern Munich, where carving open stubborn defences is often the main challenge, Sebastian Haller could provide a superb focal point. He also happens to have one of European football's best records from the penalty spot, with 24 of 24 going in. Not a bad attribute for a striker to have. Eintracht Frankfurt are famously smarter than quite a few Bundesliga clubs when it comes to keeping hold of their prized assets. And with 3 years still left to run on Haller's contract, it might be difficult to prize into the Allianz Arena. With that being said, Haller is probably the player on this list most similar to Lewandowski in terms of his hold-up play and goal-scoring prowess. Keep your eyes peeled for this one. Next up, it's Mauro Icardi. On his day, Icardi is one of the world's best attacking players, with the pace, movement, strength and finishing ability to cause even the best defenders in the world problems. Don't believe me? Just ask Giorgio Chiellini. He said that Icardi is one of the 2 best players he's ever played in the world, just behind Messi, but ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo. At Inter Milan, Icardi has scored way more than 100 goals in way fewer than 200 games. But there is just one problem with Icardi: he's not the most reliable player off the field. Icardi is currently at odds with the Chiefs at Inter Milan. He hasn't played once for the club since being stripped of the captaincy back in February, owing to a dispute over his contract. The problem is, when you're dealing with Icardi, you're not just dealing with the man, you're also dealing with his wife. Wanda Nara also serves as Icardi's agent, and it's fair to say she can be a little erratic at times. She recently took some photos of her and her husband together, burnt them on a fire, filmed the whole thing and put it on social media. This is the woman currently handling his contract negotiations. It's all a little bit messy. But if you can get the best out of Icardi on the pitch, you're probably going to be happy putting up with a little bit of nonsense off the pitch as well. A team like Bayern Munich, or any team for that matter, would definitely be better with a fit and firing Icardi leading the line. The good news is Icardi has a clause in his contract which means he could be signed for 150 million euros, which isn't bad for a player of his quality. The bad news is any club that wants to sign him will only have 15 days to get it over the line before the clause expires, which is easier said than done in today's market with the number of directors, agents and lawyers that get involved, and especially hard given that Icardi's agent is his wife. For a club like Bayern Munich, who tried to put a team before the individual, Icardi possibly isn't the right man. But my God, would it be cool if they took a gamble and it paid off. Next on our list, it's Kasper Dolberg. Okay, Lewandowski is a player of such importance and skill and experience that it might not be a very good idea to replace him with a youngster, but bear with me. What Dolberg lacks in experience, he makes up for in quality and potential. Still just 21 years of age, he's already played over 100 games for Ajax and scored close to 50 goals. He's probably also the player on this list that most physically resembles Lewandowski. He uses his height, movement and ability to bring teammates into play to get things ticking up front. He's quality at leading the line solo. Ajax have a habit of developing quality young players, and they also understand that many of these will move on at some stage in their career. Therefore, negotiating a deal to sign Dolberg probably wouldn't be the hardest thing. However, they'd be likely to face stiff competition from teams from the Premier League and La Liga. I'd have to say this might be a bit too much of a risk for Bayern Munich, who probably want to replace Lewandowski with an already established world-class player. But who knows, in a few years and with the right coaching and motivation, Dolberg could even be better than the Pole. Last but not least, and this one is a big one, it's Antoine Griezmann. Okay, this one might be a bold shout, but the bean counters at Bayern did say there'd be a whopping load of cash to spend this summer, and what a statement of intent it would be if they could sign Antoine Griezmann. The Frenchman belongs to the elite band of players just behind Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's safe to say he could improve almost any team he walked into. Above all, Griezmann's best quality is probably his versatility. He's happy leading the line by himself, where his pace, finishing ability and movement cause havoc in opposition penalty areas, but he's also happy on the wing and he can play as a number 10, where his vision, speed of thought and dribbling skills help the team to get from defence to attack quickly. He's a star not only at club level for Atletico Madrid, but also on the international stage, where his performances at Russia 2018 helped propel France to their first World Cup victory since 1998. He scored in the round of 16, quarterfinals and final. While Griezmann is reportedly very happy in Madrid, he has come close to leaving the club in the past, such as 2018, where the whole world thought he was on the verge of a move to Barcelona before he had a change of heart at the last minute and stayed with the club. And after convincing him to stay last time, Atletico probably aren't in the mood to do it all again this summer. But if bids are made, Bayern need to ensure they're one of the participating clubs for his signature. For me, this one seems unlikely, especially because regardless of how much cash Niko Kovac is going to be given this summer, an enormous amount would need to be spent to bring Griezmann to the Allianz Arena. That being said, I reckon Griezmann is probably the world's best player that Bayern actually have a shot of signing if they wanted to. And that concludes our top 5 players who could replace Lewandowski if he decides to move on this summer. Let us know what you thought of our picks, tell us who we've missed, and leave your comments below.